Hello students. So students, in the previous class we were talking in the chapter that is sorting material into groups about the classification. We discussed that on what basis the classification has done, as well as we discussed that different types of a classification on the basis of the properties of the material. And on that basis, we have categorized into different groups, which include, you see, that on the basis of their appearance, that is, whether it is having luster or not. It means whether it is shinier or it is a dull in appearance. Then hardness, softness, solubility, insolubility. Okay, then heaviness, lightness. Then transparency, translucent, and opaque. So you see, these are the different kind of properties of the different material, and we have categorized them. We have classified the different material on the basis of such kind of properties. Okay, so an object is made up of material, and the materials are having different property on the basis of the object is made up of. Now these properties has been classified into all these different kind of groups. Okay. Okay, so appearance is there, hardness, softness, solubility, insolubility, heaviness, lightness, transparency, translucent is there, students. Okay, so we can write it translucent. Okay, so translucent and opaque is there. So we already had discussed the two things, students, that include the appearance as well as the hardness. So you see, students, if we talk about the appearance, let me remind you again that appearance is what? Luster. An object, whether it is having shine or it does not have a shine. Okay, so you see, there are a lot of there are a lot of materials which is having which is shiny in appearance. So you see, gold is there, or diamond is there, or silver is there. All these are what? These are the metals. When you see them, it shine. So that is why such kind of a object, we will say, such kind of a material, we will say that they are lustrous material. They are having luster. They are having shine. And because of this property, they are used in making the jewelries. They are used in making the ornaments. Okay, because they used to shine. There are material which do not have a shine. They are dull in appearance. Okay, and that is why they are not used for that purpose. They are used for the other purpose. So you see, a lot of things are there. Coal is there, graphite is there, plastic is there. So these are what? These are basically, they are dull in appearance, or they do not have a shine surface. So that is why they are not used for making a thing or an object which needs to be shining in appearance. Okay, so this is the first one, that is the appearance. If we talk about the second one, students, so second one is all about the hardness and softness. There are materials which are hard. So there are materials which are actually hard. Hard, it means it cannot be compressed easily. You see, students, if this is what? This is a duster. Okay, so is it possible to compress it? No. What does that it indicate? It indicates that it is hard in nature. It means this material is hard. So a lot of examples are there, students, by which we can say, okay, this metal, this object, this material is hard in nature. So iron is there, copper is there, all the different kind of metals are actually hard in nature. Okay, they possess hardness. Aluminium is there, etc. So we cannot compress it. Bricks are there, students, stones are there. So we cannot compress it. So that is why they are hard in nature. If we talk about the softness. So in case of a softness, the material which can be compressed easily, which can be cut, can be cut easily, that is known as that material, we can say, shows the property of the softness. Okay, so the materials, we can say that softness is what? The property of the material in which it can be compressed easily. Okay, it can be compressed easily, or it can be cut, it can be bent, or it can be molded. Okay, or stretched. Are called as a soft material. So you see, students, there is a property of the material in which we can compress it easily, we can cut it easily, we can bend it easily. Okay, if a material is there which is soft, so it is very easy for us to bend it. Okay, bend, it means molding into a different shape. That is known as a bend. Okay, so molding, it means giving shape to it, giving it in a different shape. So we can easily bend it, we can easily cut it, we can easily compress it. It means when we compress, when we press it, it can be compressed easily, or it is very easy to stretch it. All these kind of a property made a material a soft material. If the material can be compressed, can be cut, bent, molded, or stretched easily, such kind of a material is known as a soft material. And if the material cannot be compressed, easily cut, bent, or it cannot be easily molded or stretched, such kind of a material is known as a hard material. So this is, by this, student, you can say that, okay, this object is a hard material, or sorry, this material is a hard material, or this is a soft material, on the basis of these kind of a property. So what are the different examples, students? So lot of things are there. For example, sponge or cotton. So you see, students, if you see a cotton is there, so it is very easy to compress or to bend or to press the cotton material easily. Okay, so cotton is a what? It is a softer one, so very easily we can compress it. The same thing with that of a sponge. You have heard about the sponge ball also. So it is easy to compress the sponge ball, and the reason is that it is the softer one. Not only this, we can easily mold it and give shape to it. We can easily cut it. We can easily stretch it. We can easily bend it. So all these of a material make a sponge a soft material. Then wool is there, foam is there, rubber. So rubber is there, students. So you see rubber, we can easily stretch rubber. So by stretching, you are changing the shape of the rubber. So if you are able to stretch anything, that material is also a soft material. You can see, student, if you are having an iron wire or if you are having a rubber, elastic rubber, which one will be easier to stretch it? You will say that absolutely it will be very easy to stretch a rubber rather than that of the iron wire. Why is it so? Because iron is the hard material. But a rubber, it is the softer one, so it is possible to stretch it. And that is why we consider them into that it is having a property of a softness. Then candle wax is there, butter is there, butter, wool, student, candle, wax is there, okay, clay is there, skin, your own skin, students. You are able to stretch your skin, you are able to bend your skin, okay. So we can say the skin is also a soft material, okay. And feather is there, tomato, if we take an example of a vegetable, so tomato, etc. Lot of materials are there. You see, students, all these are the different kind of materials which shows the property of a softness. If you see clay, with the help of the clay, you are able to give different kind of a shape to it. Okay, you are easily bend it, you can easily cut the clay, you are able to stretch it. Okay, so clay is also a softer one. Feather, absolutely it is very softer, the feather. So you can say we are able to compress it or bend the feather. Same thing with the tomato, student. You are able to compress a tomato. If you have been given a copper ball, is it possible for you to do the same thing as means apply the same kind of a force as you are applying the force on the tomato? Your answer will be that it is very easy to compress a tomato rather than a iron ball or an aluminium ball. Okay, because that is what? That is very hard. Okay, so if we talk about bricks, student, if we talk iron, if we talk stone or copper or aluminium or any kind of a different kind of a metal, they are very hard. And reason is because they cannot be easily compressed, they cannot be easily cut, they cannot be easily bent or they cannot be easily stretched. But there are the material which can be easily compressed, cut, bent, molded or stretched. So such kind of materials include the sponge or the candle wax or the cotton or the rubber or skin, feather, wool, butter, tomato, all these different kind of examples of the softer material. These material possesses the softness. So this is the second classification of the material on the basis of their hardness and the softness property. Now the next one. Next one is the classification of the material on the basis of their solubility. Okay. So we had discussed on the basis of hardness and softness. Now we will talk about the solubility of the material. Whether the given material is soluble in water or it is not soluble in water. So we can write it. Classification of materials on the basis of the solubility. So, whether the given object is soluble or not soluble in water, we will talk about it in this classification. Okay, so you see students. So, classification of material on the basis of the solubility. Now you see students. We know that water is what? Water is a universal solvent. What does that mean? It means that water, it dissolves mostly all the different kind of materials in it. But even then also there are some materials which are not dissolved in water. So on the basis of that, we can say that there are some material which are soluble in water and there are material which are insoluble in water. Okay. So the materials which are soluble in water, they are having the good solubility, we can say they are soluble, and they are not, material which are not soluble, we will use the term for it that they are insoluble in water. Okay, so classification is basically done that materials can be classified, can be soluble in water, you can say. Next one is materials which are not soluble in water. So a material which are soluble in water are material which are not soluble in water. So you see students, if we talk that water is a universal solvent, it almost, or you can say most of the material large number of materials, they are easily soluble in water. Now there are some which are insoluble. Okay, so we can say that material can be easily dissolves in water, we can say that in water are called soluble material. Okay. And the materials which cannot be easily dissolves in water are called insoluble materials. Okay, so soluble materials are what? Which can be easily dissolved. They are known as a soluble material. And the materials which cannot be easily dissolved in water, we will say it insoluble materials. Especially we are talking about it by taking the case of a water. Okay, they can be soluble in other kind of a material. But here we are talking about the water. Now let us take an example, and with the help of an example we will try to understand that whether a given material is a soluble or not a soluble. So you see students, if suppose you will take a glass of a water, okay, or you have taken a glass or a tumbler and you fill half of the glass with water. Now you added 2 teaspoons full of sugar in it, and then you stir it. After some time, what will you observe? You will observe that you cannot see the sugar particle in the water. Now what you can do? You can take another glass, fill again it with the water and add salt in it. Now again stir it. What will you observe? You will again observe that there is no salt present in it, or salt can be seen by us through our eyes. Okay. Now, so in the first case, in the second case, you have taken a sugar and a salt respectively. Now you will take another glass and fill that glass with a half portion of the glass with the water. Now you add 2 teaspoonful of sand in it. So when you add sand in it and stir it again with the help of the spoon, what will you observe? You will observe that sand is still present at the bottom of the water. Now what can you do? Again you will take the spoon and you stir the sand. Maybe because you have not properly stirred it, that is why the sand is not properly dissolving it. So you again stir it with spoon. What will you observe? You observe that still the sand does not dissolve in it. So you see student, although you are stirring it a lot of a time, but still it is not soluble in water. So we will say that sand is insoluble in water. While in the first case and in the second case, we have taken salt and sugar, and both of them we cannot easily dissolve in water. And that is why they are soluble in water. So we can write it. In the first case, what we had done, student, we have taken sugar. First of all, we have taken a glass. Okay, half of the glass filled with water. Then add sugar. The second one, the same thing students, glass, half of the glass filled with water. Then add sand. Okay, and stir it. Stir it properly. So in the first case, students, we have taken the glass, half of the glass is filled with water. Here also in the second case, we have taken a glass, half of the glass is filled with the water, and here we add sugar and stir it. Here we added sand to it and stir it properly. What will you observe? You will observe that sugar get dissolved properly in the water. So we will say that sugar is soluble in water. Why? In case of a sand, sand is not soluble in water. Okay, so sugar is easily dissolved in water, and that is why we will say that sugar is soluble in water. Sand is not easily dissolved in water, so we will say that it is not soluble in water. Okay, so in both of the case we have done each and everything the same, but the material we have taken is a different. Okay, in the first one we have taken a sugar, in the second one we have taken a sand, and we observe that sugar dissolves in water but sand does not dissolve. So there are material which dissolves in water, that is known as a soluble material, and there are material which does not dissolve, so we will use the term for it that they are insoluble in water. A lot of examples are there, students, which are soluble in water, and a lot of examples are there which are insoluble in water. Like in case of this, we can write it. Here also. So you see, students, sugar is there, salt is there, washing soda is there. Okay, then milk is there, lemon juice is there, copper sulfate is there, etc. Potassium permanganate, all these things are soluble in water. Okay, then next one is the insoluble one. So you see, student, chalk powder is there, sawdust is there, okay, coconut oil, mustard oil, petrol is there, etc. So these are some of them which are insoluble in water. And here it is soluble in water. Okay, so there are the examples in which we can say soluble in water and insoluble in water. Likewise, students, we can talk about that of the liquid also. So you see, if suppose you will take a lemon juice or that of the milk, or you can take a vinegar also. So all these things are what? These can be easily dissolved in water. When you add a glass, when you add water in the vinegar, or when you take a teaspoonful of lemon juice and add it in the water, you will observe that it will be easily soluble in water. Now you take another glass mustard. Now you take another glass and fill it with water. Then you add two teaspoon or a small amount of oil in it, or a petrol in it, or a coconut oil in it. What will you observe? You will observe that this oil will not going to mix with the water. So you can understand that since it is not mixing with the water, it means it is insoluble in water. So liquid is also insoluble in water. Here we were talking about the solid in a liquid. Okay, these all are what? These are the collective one, which include the solid, which include the liquid. But when we are adding this sugar or a salt in the water, that was a solid is added in the liquid. Sand in water, then sand is a solid, water is a liquid. So we are adding a sand solid in a liquid. Likewise, when you add a lemon juice in water, that will be a liquid in the liquid, and then it will be dissolved easily in water. And here when you add a oil in a water, that is also a liquid, because oil is a liquid, water is a liquid. So both of them, they should mix each other, but no. But they do not dissolve with each other. So we will say that mustard oil is insoluble in water. Okay.